Welcome to Chai Chat.
Hello, everybody.
Father Andrew.
I already poured it because we had a mishap.
Very nice color. Please.
You see the color?
If someone could zoom in on this, please.
What?
No, because it looks like you've
It's a
been
little cloudy, though.
practicing.
I'm not very happy with that.
Yeah.
It tastes amazing.
Cheers. I'll offer you guys.
I think this is the best one you've ever made for us.
I just want
Much
you to be
better
happy.
than the Lenten chai.
Soma. Chai at Soma.
Yeah, chai at Soma.
What's our topic?
The second temptation of Jesus.
Read it.
Yeah.
Read it? Okay.
Read this temptation, man. We act like we have the Bible memorized.
Shlama. I'm not joking. Okay.
Second temptation in Matthew's Gospel.
Temptation in Matthew's Gospel.
This is different than Luke.
Okay. Then the devil took him to the holy city and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will give His angels charge of you, and on their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, you shall not tempt the Lord your God."
What do you guys think about the word "if"?
If you are the Son of
If
God.
you
It's a
are
good
the
question.
Son of God.
It is a good question.
Very insightful.
Okay, look, it's one of two things. Either he didn't know and he wanted to find out, the devil, or he knew and he was like taunting Jesus.
You know, is
Like,
that
prove it, you're the Son.
that it seems equivalent to what people do when they say, "If you're a man, you'll,"
Yeah.
you know.
It's either that, exactly. It's either that or he really truly didn't know.
Well, in the Old Testament prophecies, and as far as the people knew at the time, there was no prophecy about God becoming incarnate, right? So would the devil know something like that?
I don't think so. Or having a son.
Or having a son, like
Because that implies
only
the Trinity.
begotten Son.
That implies the Trinity, and I don't think Satan knew about the Trinity.
Yeah,
I think
and-
that was revealed at the baptism.
And God the Father had just spoke that at the baptism right before this.
Right.
This
If
is
it
my
was
beloved
revealed at the
Son.
baptism, though, he would have known by then.
By then, yeah, and so
So the Father spoke, "This is my beloved Son." The Holy Spirit came down. Trinity is revealed at the baptism. Immediately after that, Satan takes him to the desert, says, "If you are the Son of God."
So maybe he's
Twice.
Maybe he's inquiring to know more, something like that.
Or he wants to verify it. Maybe it was...
Yeah, I think the implication that he's not sure for sure.
I think either way could work, but I lean more on that side. And I think there's a Onitha somewhere. There's more than one actually. And I think it's from one of the letters of Peter that says it was through the church that this was revealed to the principalities in heaven. So the angels didn't know that God was Trinity. That was a hidden mystery until the baptism.
In the movie, in the Passion of course, Passion of the Christ is obviously not authoritative, but it is interpretive, right? At least Mel Gibson's interpretation of it. It seems like the devil in the movie doesn't know because he has that.
Even by then.
Yeah, even by then.
Yeah.
Like he has that kind of, he's doing this thing and he's inquiring, he's asking, he's wondering,
So
That's
if
the
you are-
sense that you get from his facial expression and the way he's speaking and stuff.
So if you are the Son of God, he asked the first time. Jesus answers, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. And man shall not live by bread alone.
yeah.
So Jesus could be referring to himself in his humanity, which doesn't answer Satan's question, if you are the Son of God. The second one, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, the angels will catch you. And then Jesus says, he gives his answer. And then the third one, he doesn't say, if you are the Son of God.
Yeah.
So that implies that the question's answered sometime in the second temptation. Do you guys see that?
Yourself down. Yeah.
Where does he? How does he know? How does it answer him?
You shall not tempt the Lord your God.
So how does that answer it?
It's like,
Do you see the difference?
yeah.
Because when I read, you shall not tempt the Lord your God, Jesus saying that, he's saying, you, Satan, are saying, I should throw myself down. My answer to that is, I shall not tempt the Lord my God. But if Satan's question is answered, that means Jesus is saying to Satan, you, Satan, shall not tempt me, the Lord your God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if that's the answer, then Satan,
No.
then it explains why he doesn't say, if you are the Son of God, the third time. If that makes sense of that aspect of it.
It does make sense for sure.
But I still think there's a component of him sort of egging him on and
Yeah.
really getting under his skin, because
Mocking
I don't
him.
think that could be totally separate from what
Yeah.
we're talking about now,
Yeah.
because it does seem like he is being, he's going after his weak points right after, his
He was fasting,
fasting,
yeah.
and I don't know. It's
Yeah.
On the other hand, I mean, by the third temptation, Satan obviously realized that Jesus is something like a prized possession for him if he can get him to fall, because he offers him the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no indication that he's ever done that with anybody ever,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
All these I will give you. All of the
whole,
nations.
the whole earth.
Yeah.
If you would just fall down and worship me, that means Jesus, at least according to Satan's interpretation, and certainly according to ours, of course. But Jesus, or Satan, sees Jesus as worth more than the entire world and all their kingdoms and all the glory of them.
Yeah.
Jesus is more glorious than all the kingdoms of the earth put together.
Yeah.
He desires to conquer him more than he conquers the entire world.
Yeah. So the second temptation, the thing that actually I'm always most puzzled by whenever we approach this is, what's tempting about that? Throw yourself
Yeah.
off the temple. Like, is it skydiving? Is it going to be fun? I don't get what's
Yeah.
tempting about that.
I-
The first one I get, okay, I'm hungry, I want bread.
Well, it's power.
Yeah,
What are you saying?
I thought for a while, for actually all these years until this year, I was thinking that it was about worldly praise, that he wanted to jump off and then wanted the people to see a miracle happening. But then I was reading Jesus of Nazareth by Pope Benedict this year, and he goes into the temptations in detail, and he says it can't be necessarily about worldly praise, mainly because of the response of Jesus. You shall not tempt the Lord your God. So it wasn't about worldly praise, and
It was about tempting God.
yeah. So it was about,
So then what's tempting about it?
Well, it would be him using his, omnipotence just for something very, very shallow, to prove something. God, we know God could do this, and telling him, if you don't do this, it's like, I see it equivalent as when people say, if you're, I don't know, having anxiety or something, you're going through depression, you don't need a therapist, you don't need any of that. Just, say a prayer, God
Yeah.
will get you out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think it's the attempt to replace basic prudence with sort of stapling religion onto it. Like, instead of, there are even denominations of Christianity. They're sort of sects. They're not like very mainstream, but there are sects that will not go to doctors.
Yeah.
So if you're sick, if there's some injury, no, just pray and believe in God, and that will. And there are even, like, if you isolate certain parts of the gospel, certain verses, there are even implications. If you just look at the end of Mark's gospel, and that's the only part of the Bible you read, you might get that impression. Of course, there's a lot more than that. But to replace medical care or true prudence, people have come to me and they'll say, I've even complained about this, but like, there's these different jobs I'm looking to, I'm not sure which job I'm supposed to take. I got 2 job offers. Which one am I supposed to take? And they'll come ask me, and as if, like, if the priest tells me which one, that's from God. That's kind of what this temptation is about. It's like, dude, sit and think about it and figure out what's best for you. And instead of trying to be prudent and figuring it out, you're just going to, like, throw yourself, okay, let the priest say it, whatever the priest says I'm going to do. That's not really faith. That's irresponsibility. That's, instead of you doing what you're supposed to do, you throw it on God, and he's going to catch you whatever you do. That's Satan's point of view.
That's one of the reasons why I'll never choose for someone.
Yeah.
When it comes
What
to
do
a
I know?
decision
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
What do I know
because-
about your
just so you guys know, we're not going to
Yeah.
choose.
yeah.
This is, I think, relative to what the church teaches about, like the new agey stuff, mediums or like card reading or like Finjan or anything
Superstitions,
like that.
yeah.
Superstitious stuff, because essentially that's making an idol out of worldly things or creaturely things. But then you can also misunderstand God in such a way that you think that you can use His power
Yeah.
and force Him to use His power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manipulate God, yeah.
Manipulate God, yeah. And I think that's related here because, like, with any of these sins, essentially you're taking the front seat in the actions that you're doing, and you're trying to force God to follow you as opposed to the other way around. Throwing yourself down and kind of like in an audacious way telling God, like, you were the one that said, the angels are going to catch me, and using that against God to do what you feel like doing.
Yeah. Okay, everyone tell your grandmas and your aunts and whoever else, grandpas and uncles, finjan, future telling, the green, the blue eye,
That Turkish thing, yeah.
the
Yeah.
blue eye that's going to
Oh my
ward off
gosh.
jealousy or whatever.
Unbelievable.
These are non-Christian practices. It is superstition. It is witchcraft. Throw them away.
Tell them.
Yeah.
Don't throw.
bessa.
You don't have to throw the cups
Tell
away.
them
Just stop
bessa,
doing it.
bessa.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay,
say
and
something.
let them hear this.
Please.
Bessa.
Let me say something about that real quick. So, this girl at the youth group the other day asked me about it because she was wearing one,
Yeah.
and I asked her. I said, "Why do you wear it? The blue eye thingy?" And she said, "I wear it so that I can have protection." And I said, "Doesn't God protect you? You know?" And then she really thought about it, and then she went and told her mom that this is what the priest said, and then the mom told her, "Don't listen to him. You're only wearing it for a decoration." And
If
and
you
that's
like,
it.
if you enjoy a big blue eyeball hanging and you think that's attractive, awafi. Go ahead. Okay, if it's for that reason, go ahead. This is stupid, but whatever.
But
Like you have bad taste, but
it's
fine.
a thing with, like, within the culture that they do use it for that purpose, for
Yeah.
the protection. So that's why
That-
they,
it's
that's
definitely
what it's for.
superstitious.
100
And it's
years
not,
old.
it's not just
You can't
but-
get around it.
Nothing decorative about it.
yeah, it's ugly, but it's not just God is gonna, but God's gonna protect you for you being smart. You're gonna put this
Yeah,
thing on,
yeah.
and this needs to be said. I mean, a qualification here, the Carmelite scapular that people wear, the brown scapular, that's not a magic item, guys. This is not like
Yeah.
Oh, if
exactly.
you die
Yeah.
wearing
Oh, yeah,
this,
yeah.
if you
won't.
even if you read it carefully, even the little thing, it says if you die and you haven't committed mortal sins, if you're sort of in a state of grace, you'll be protected from the flames of hell. But that's already there because you're in a state
Because
of
of the
grace.
sacraments.
So what does the thing add? Just understand what the
Brothers and
scapular is.
nuns
It's not a magic item. It is an indication that you're a member of the third order of the Carmelites, which none of you are, guys. You're just wearing that because it's like cute or something. I mean, that's fine. Again, if
Yeah.
it's decoration, that's fine. But don't think that this item itself is a magical item. Statues are not magical items. They're there to remind us, and they're important reminders. Icons, we even talked about icons last week. They're amazing, beautiful reminders. We
Yeah.
have them here.
Especially the ones in the church.
They're very important,
Yeah.
but they're not magic. Don't think that that if you have this item, you don't have to be careful. Like, I'm going to hang a rosary in my car, and then I don't have to pay attention to the speed limit.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly throw yourself off.
Yeah,
You
that
know-
that magic aspect or the shortcut type of thing.
You shall not
where-
tempt the Lord your God.
Yeah, where people want God to protect them in their own way, or they want God to reveal things to them about their life
Yeah.
in their own way, when God wants to do it in His way and
Yeah.
in His time.
Yeah.
And I think this is, especially the second temptation, it's a response to a lot of people who struggle with not really, people that are going through a hard time and their prayer life is solid, they're
Yeah.
living a good moral life, so on and so forth, but things just aren't, it's just not working, right? And I've, met with a lot of people for counseling or advice or whatever, and they tell me about this. And a lot of people, they do get discouraged, right? They do get discouraged in God's providence and the will of God, so on and so forth. But we see in the second temptation how God actually works. He doesn't work
Yeah.
according to whatever we do. Of course, we're giving our supplication in times of need. Christ tells us to do that, right? But it still should be looked at with both views.
Yeah.
What about the fortune telling thing? So I think the reason why people seek to know the future is because of the anxiety. Things are screwed up right now.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
know where this is going to end. Am I going to get the job or the wife or husband or whatever? But here's the thing. You're not supposed to know the future. And it's unnatural for you to know the future. It's against nature. It's part of human nature is we live in time. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. If you're bothered by that and that makes you horribly anxious, your anxiety is the problem, not the fact that you can't tell the future.
Yeah.
And the solution is to address your anxiety, not to try to figure out the future with superstition. That is really, it's satanic there. This is really a satanic temptation. So throw yourself off, the angels will keep trying. It's kind of funny because it cuts both ways. On the one hand, don't be dumb and do imprudent things. But on the other hand, but trust God enough that, He's going to give you what you need to be holy and happy and close to Him. Even if He is not going to give you what you want, if what you want is so important to you that you're willing to go to witchcraft to find out if you're going to get it, you love that thing more than you love God. And that's, you shall not tempt the Lord your God in that way as well.
You know, something that was, I mean, pretty crazy to me. I was going to get a haircut, and right next door to the barber shop, there was a psychic sitting there, okay? And inside that little shop, there were, what do they call it, those tarot cards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, other horoscopes and, I don't know, all this crazy stuff. And I was wearing my Man of God shirt, and I was waiting to go in, but I was thinking about going in there first, just, you know, to see
what's
see the future?
what's going on. No, but really, I was standing outside, and I saw customers in there, like very interested with what was going on. And I was thinking to myself, you know, just I was really sad, you know, because a lot of people, I mean, especially in this culture we live in, the people constantly dismiss God for, you know, whatever reason. If something bad happened in their lives, if, you know, atheists that they like, you know, convinces them that God is not real, so on and so forth. But we really do live in a life where this agenda is being pushed, especially amongst the young adults.
Yeah.
You know, with horoscopes. I mean, it's terrible.
So I think the reason why Ratzinger also talks about this in the same book, right, Jesus of Nazareth, where you know you want to tear open the veil of the future.
Yeah.
That's the temptation of humanity, and this is what a lot of religious traditions are trying to address, and a lot of them fall into superstition because that's the question that they're trying to address. Christianity doesn't claim to know the future, although it trusts in God, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Anything other than that, any guaranteed knowledge of what's going to happen in the future would fall into superstition. And even like I've seen this, and I'm kind of reserved in what I'm going to say, but some people treat the sacraments in a magical way as well. You know, and so they'll try to use confession as a guarantee of salvation, but they're not really, you know, understanding the sacrament as a reconciliation with God, which is what saves us. Not just I'm doing this ritualistic thing, and therefore I'm going to be saved. Well, obviously, you know, in the sacraments, God makes up for our weaknesses and so on. That's for sure.
But it's so that we can be close to Him.
But it's so that it's the reconciliation with God, our union with God is really what saves us. It's not that I'm going to go to confession so that I go to heaven and I don't go to hell, and it has really nothing to do with God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep, I agree
And
with
all
that.
of this, you know, the fact that a lot of people, even, you know, mostly non-believers, I think we could say mostly non-believers use it. But the problem is that a lot of believers use these things because they want that shortcut with God. And just, if you think about it, you know, how much more beneficial would it be for your time? Like, rather than reading a horoscope or going to a fortune teller to try to learn something about yourself or about the future, how much more beneficial would it be for you to read the Bible, which is God's revelation? That's what God revealed to us.
He already told you what you need to know.
Yeah.
It's there. You just have to read it. Yeah. You don't have to go and manipulate reality in order to find it.
I've heard people tell me, people that were actively living in mortal sin, right? That would tell me, this is back in when we used to use the old final blessing in the Mass. People would tell me, yeah, but Father, look at like what you guys say in the final blessing, you know. He who, amen, amen, I say to you, he who eats my flesh and drinks my blood dwells in me and I in him, and I will raise him up on the last day. Mm-hmm. So that they're using even the Eucharist there as a way of saying, I can do whatever I want to because Jesus says this, right? That's kind of...
But if you eat his body and drink his blood unworthily, it's condemnation.
Exactly.
And what's worthiness? It's actually loving God, having even an element of love of God.
Exactly. That's why it always comes down to faith, right? Yeah. Faith in the form of trust and faithfulness. You know,
faithfulness.
That's what makes you worthy to receive all the sacraments and makes that reconciliation.
And mortal sin kills that, and that's why confession is not this ritual that now I have a different status, now I'm in a state of grace and not in a state of...
Exactly.
No, it's what connects you to God. It's the reason why it's mortal is because you're dead without God.
Yeah.
And because you've committed the sin, you're dead. Confession gives you life again. And what does life mean? It means you're a branch connected to the... You're a stem connected to the branch, which is Christ.
It's not like this court language. Like I'm on. It's a judicial thing, you know. Essentially, that's what ruins the.
And you'll always run into a brick wall when you start cherry picking. I mean, Bible verses.
Yeah.
So if they read the Bible more, they would know.
Yeah.
Throw yourself down, for it is written, His angels will carry you.
That's a psalm that the devil quoted.
Yeah, the devil quoting the Bible. He did that the first time too.
So that's another thing. What Ratzinger says about that part. He says it's like he uses it as an analogy for today, where there's two biblical scholars kind of debating from different perspectives.
Yeah.
One of them is using the Bible, forcing it to say what he wants it to say, whereas Christ is actually
eisegesis.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you take biblical quotes out of context, you're like the devil.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're sort of attempting to manipulate even Scripture, it's like, okay, I have this belief. I already have this belief from some other source.
Yeah.
God knows where it is. I'm going to go and look at Scripture or whatever, something in the tradition, to justify what I already believe. Then what are you learning from?
Yeah.
You're not learning from the Bible. You're using it. It's just like manipulating God through these sort of superstitious means.
Yeah.
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 You shall not tempt the Lord your God.
How's everybody's Lent going?
Good.
Why is it tempt?
Tempt?
Why is it you shall not tempt the Lord your God? You're trying to make God sin by having him, right? You're tempting God.
Yeah,
It means you're trying to get him
because
to sin.
It would mean that God would be also giving into that.
Yeah. This thing that you want is so important even to God that he's going to sort of
Yeah.
manipulate nature for you.
Yeah,
You're
It's-
tempting God.
It's like, I guess it's close to, someone in their prayer life saying, God, if you do this, I'll,
Yeah,
You
then
know,
I'm going to go to church
Making
or
deals.
make
Just
a
good,
donation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is tempt in the sense of test, right? Don't test the
Test,
Lord.
sure.
Don't try to
Namjabut.
yeah. This is like I'm going to test whether or not God is going to live up to his promise, and so I'm going to
Drive
put
80 on
myself
the
in.
freeway.
That's the issue. It's not that you're going to test God. It's he's testing you. You're the one that has to prove yourself to God.
Yeah.
I mean, they do this like, okay, God, this if you give me this, then I'll believe it, and if you don't, then I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah.
That's the test.
Yeah.
Who are you? Like you're going to judge God? What the heck? And like, if somebody did that to me as a friend, okay, I'm going to like place I'm gonna give you a bunch of rules that you have to follow. Like, okay, bye. I don't even want to be your friend, and I'm just like some schmuck sinner. Imagine God, somebody saying, okay, God has to prove himself to me.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck with that, dude.
By the way, that's the reason I don't like. There are some people that interpret Abraham's sacrifice of Isaac. Some people interpret that as saying, well, Abraham was about to kill him, but he would have stopped. He was just testing God. Well, I don't really buy into that.
I don't. Now, just to address that, I don't think he was testing God. He was testing whether this was actually God.
Oh, fine.
That's different.
That's more fair. Okay.
And I think that's actually pretty good. I'm more on the side of that. I think there's more going on with that story, but it's a whole another issue.
We'll save that for another chai chat.
Okay, you have to go. We get it. You're busy. I know you're the busiest one of us.
No, what did I do?
No, I'm just saying.
Did I indicate in any way?
You're getting a little antsy.
Did
You're
I
like,
indicate in any way?
No, not at all. We're friends here. We're all friends.
Love you guys.
So
Were you doing this thing with the...
purchases? Yeah, I left my phone in my office, but I know what I bought.
Because you probably,
No, I know the last thing that
What
I
did I
purchased.
buy?
You know
We-
what?
we-
I'll just start.
We buy too much.
Yeah,
man.
I just got a canon law book.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did I...
It's
very
on
fancy.
I'm not sure I got anything. Let's see.
nullity of marriages.
I bought some tea, actually.
For a chai chat?
No, for me.
What are we, chopped liver?
Yeah.
I got an electrolyte powder thing.
Let me see,
Yeah, it's
man.
good. It's like a competition with the Costco one. Liquid IV.
Liquid IV. You got into that.
Instagram ads.
Liquid IV is great. Yeah.
What about you?
I got.
You said toothpaste last time.
I know,
If
I
you
know.
tell me a
Toothbrush.
toothbrush.
I got a book actually. The Devotion to the Sacred Heart.
Oh, nice.
Getting into that. Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
I've
Okay.
read a little bit of that.
That's cool. Anything else?
On Kindle.
Are we doing anything in
I
here?
highly recommend the book. for
I'm not singing again. I refuse.
I don't know if people like that.
I don't know.
By the way, if you guys, here's the thing. If you're gonna comment, you should do a Q&A. Put some questions. If you want to do,
Put some questions.
if you want a topic addressed, write it in the comments of the YouTube video.
But you're already ahead because you got Father Andrew to read your comment. So
I did read a comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
It was somebody saying like, "God bless you guys."
Oh,
So we'll take it.
God
Any
bless
prayers you
too.
say for us, we'll
Thank
take
you
it.
guys.
Yeah, we need it.
okay. We're gonna, the three of us can sing and you can.
Okay, I won't. I'll stay
What are you doing
silent.
now?
What is
Oh, you're
it?
doing the Onitha
Yeah,
again?
we'll do this one because we did this one last week.
Go,
so
go,
we'll do
go.
this one.
I will not
You're
sing.
in charge, man.
All you servants of the Lord,
Let us cleanse our consciences and scour our minds from the stain of sin, and our vices cast away as we strive for excellence. May we all discern the truth of the flesh and blood of Christ, who alone forgives all our faults.
Thank you for joining us. And
You're welcome.
Yalla bye.
peace out.
See you next week, maybe. What if people? You don't have to throw the cups
Tell
away.
them
Just stop doing
bassa,
it.
bassa.
Yeah.
Let me